All right. Yeah, Sunday morning. It is now the 15th of May.
We've been here for almost 2 months.
Tomorrow will be 2 months exactly.
That we've been in Chavuma.
Yeah, and it's been an interesting time. We've been here for 2 months already, and we've been to Lusaka 2 times in this last week.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It was literally like less than 2 weeks.
It's not the last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Within one week and a little bit.
Yeah.
We've been to Lusaka twice, which is
Exactly. So
very unusual. It's not the norm.
We went to Lusaka and returned from Lusaka this past Thursday, and the previous week we were also in Lusaka, also having arrived on the Thursday. So it's been crazy travels, and obviously there's been a reason for these travels, and we thank God for these reasons, because the first reason we had to travel was to to go and fetch Arthur. I think we mentioned this in our last update. We introduced people to Arthur and the reasons why we had to go and fetch Arthur, because of the work that God has started in his life. And it's exciting. It is so exciting to see what God is doing in Arthur's life. And we're super grateful to have the opportunity to be part of that journey with Arthur, and to just be able to offer him a space like this, to have to come and to pray and to seek God's face, and to seek direction for his newfound life. How is he going to take his family forward now? We called it a retreat, but it wasn't necessarily like a retreat that most people think of.
No, it was a space to retreat away from the busyness
city of refuge,
life.
like Denzel spoke about
last week.
Last
Sunday.
week was so pertinent for Arthur as well. It was touched by that. And
I think there was a lot of value in that, and it was made possible by the fact that we had to go and do a shopping run, and because Arthur's need to be able to come away for a few days to fast and pray coincided with our need to do a shopping run, because we've got visitors actually coming today.
They're arriving today.
So
15 May.
They are working with our harvesters guys in Angola, and they'll probably be heading out in that direction. So we did a shopping run with that in mind, and then it coincided with the need that Arthur had to come here, so we could kind of help him at the same time.
So our shopping trip to Lusaka was a huge shopping list. I mean, the vehicle was loaded with. I mean, we had those 2 fridges in, and we had a whole bunch of boxes on the roof.
We were shipping for us,
and
for Leslie and them. But we were also shipping for some people. We were shopping. We were shopping for us, and we were shopping for Leslie and them, but we were also shopping for the other missionaries that are uphill.
On the hill,
So it was like we had a lot of shopping to do and get a whole bunch of things.
And we were also bringing back our books, which we had left at Arthur's house while we were hosted there on our way up here. And we had left those books there to make space for the shopping that we needed to bring with us for our first arrival here. So obviously we had to bring those books back. So the vehicle was quite loaded, and it was an exciting trip through the dark forest. Okay, so we've spoken about Arthur coming here and our going to fetch him, but then Arthur needed to get back. We had no idea how we were going to get Arthur back. Let me just say, it costs 6,000 rand in diesel to go to Lusaka and back. We were able to go and fetch Arthur because of the need for the shopping trip. So that obviously covered the costs of fetching Arthur. Of course, we added some money to that fuel because the money was only available to get us to Solwezi, because that's where we were supposed to go shopping. But we changed it to Lusaka. Therefore we topped up whatever was lacking, and that was 1,000 rand. But now, in order to get Arthur back to Lusaka, it's either another 6,000 rand journey,
We were praying for a miracle.
We were praying for a miracle. There's airplanes that fly into the Chitokiloki mission, which is 3 hours south downriver.
But that's
from
also
us.
expensive.
But that is very expensive, yeah.
Yeah, you pay about, $400, $500 to get on there.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on how many passengers are on the plane.
Yeah.
But normally it's more than 7,000 rand, sometimes 9,000 rand if you're the only passenger. And so anyway, we were actually trying to get a free ride for him back. Anyway, so John Leach was returning from Europe, having been spending some time in Poland and Romania, seeking to help the situation in Ukraine. So he was returning from that trip, and he landed in Lusaka. He landed there on the Tuesday. But he contacted me actually on the Sunday, and he was like, because obviously he knew Arthur was here, and he was trying to also think about ways to help. And so John was actually intending to fly to Chitokiloki using the mission airplane, and he suggested, but hang on, why don't I just not fly and we use the money I would have bought for that ticket, and then you drive back to Lusaka and you pick me up, and then you can drop Arthur off at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's how God provided a way for Arthur to get back to Lusaka, and we're certainly grateful for that, because I know John's been flying and traveling a lot, and he was very keen
and
just
driving.
to get and driving. He's done a lot of driving in Europe,
So
he was keen to get home as quick as he can, and now for him to add this extra 14-hour trip from Lusaka to Chavuma onto his already heavily traveled body and system, it was very generous of John to sacrifice that 3-hour flight for a 14-hour trip.
Yeah, but I think it was very much appreciated by Arthur as well. So just it gave a solution, and it was God's way of providing a way for Arthur to get back as well. Obviously, our trips back and forth to Lusaka took from our routine, our schedule here in Chavuma, because there were things we had to get done. You had harvesters training that had to happen on, you thought Monday, but it ended up being Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday afternoon from 2 to 5. It was online training, which is for the harvesters, the pasture training things that you were doing. But because we were traveling, we had to try and figure out how are we going to fit in the harvesters training along with this 14-hour journey to Lusaka and back. And
because the training is from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. So it's
exactly. And John was landing on Tuesday, and Arthur needed to be back on Wednesday, and it was like we were trying to see how are we going to fit all this in. So we drove. We woke up very early on Tuesday morning. We drove and got to a little lodge about 4 hours out of Lusaka on the Kafui River. And then
we arrived there at 5 to 2, and I could quickly set up my Zoom session and join that meeting.
And we did the Zooms. You did the Zoom session there at Mukambi Lodge, and then after that we drove further on to Lusaka.
Arrived there at 9:30.
And the next morning we only left Lusaka at like 1 o'clock. Or about 12 o'clock, half past 12, 1 o'clock. So you had to start your session at 2 o'clock. And then John was driving. You were sitting in the passenger seat on your phone with the Zoom session and iPad, and it was classic.
And so we had intermittent signal. It was coming and going, but I managed to stick to the training.
And then the Thursday morning we woke up early again.
Because we stayed again at the Kafui River.
Yes. And then we woke up early to push through.
We left at 4 a.m. again to push through to get to Chavuma here before 1:30 again for my next session. And again, we got here just before 1:30, and I could sit down, set up, and be part of that training. So I didn't miss out on the training, but it was a hectically long day for me.
Yeah.
All that driving. It's a 14-hour trip driving.
So it's amazing what you can actually fit into a busy schedule like that. You can't say when you're driving then you can't do Zoom sessions. Anyway.
Yeah. Now one of the things also that came out of us going to Lusaka was that we were able to help the Chavuma Mission Hospital.
Yes. Oh my word, that was crazy because Tomako messaged you and said, can we please bring some medicine? And I think in my mind I was thinking a box of medicine that we had to pick up. But when we got there, it was 6 massive boxes of medicine that I had to get loaded into the back of that vehicle. And it was 6 boxes and insulin. The insulin was the tricky one because it had to be kept between 2 and 8 degrees the whole time. Otherwise it loses its effectiveness or whatever. And then we had it in a cooler box with ice packs in there, and we were staying over at a place overnight, and so I was very worried about that. But we were able to help them by bringing those, specifically the insulin. I think they could send the other medicines with the buses, which would cost them more, but it would, at least with that coming with us with the insulin, we could take special care to make sure that the cold chain stays consistent. So that was, I think, for them also a solution.
Oh, it definitely was, yeah. So that was nice for us to help in that way as well. And the vehicle was fully loaded. I mean, John came back with luggages that I was surprised. There was a lot of luggage that he came back. He came back with extra tents for the evangelists out in Angola, which they're going to go and see now. They're leaving tomorrow, I think. AJ's arriving today, and then tomorrow they're heading out. The vehicle again was loaded on our return trip with medicines and all John's luggage and the stuff for Angola.
We didn't do that much shopping, but we got a few things that Leslie needed, and that was it basically.
And we arrived in Lusaka at 9:30 that night,
Tuesday
night, and then Wednesday morning we rushed around picking up these things that we needed.
We baptized Arthur with his family present.
We did baptize him that morning because he wanted.
He first asked if we can baptize him in the Zambezi, but because he wanted, actually we ran out of time, but also he wanted his family to be part of it. We decided we'll baptize him back home in his swimming pool. So we got to baptize him, and this is the second person from Lusaka that you've baptized within like a month.
It's amazing.
So God has really used our time there in Lusaka when we were stuck there, when we were thinking what on earth were we doing there, to actually be have input in other people's lives. So
it's amazing how God uses those delays in our lives for His purposes. And sometimes, I was getting frustrated. We were getting frustrated in Lusaka. But God was working, right?
Yeah, He was working. We didn't even know it.
Anyway, so we baptized Arthur that morning, Wednesday, and then we rushed around to pick up the medicine and to pick up 1 or 2 other things for some other people here in Chavuma. Picked up John, and then we hit the road coming back to Chavuma at 12 the same day. So it was like a hit and run. So we arrived back in Chavuma on Thursday, past Thursday, so Friday actually was the first day that we were here on this base with John, having returned from Europe. And of course, we had a meeting in the morning, and of course, so we've been here already for 2 months and have been working and taking over things and realizing things. But obviously there's new dynamics with John having returned, and now that we can actually talk things through and understand expectations. I think that was a very important meeting for us because God has called us here for a particular purpose, and of course John's got his own purpose and strengths and visions, and we need to see how we can coincide and work well together and to move forward. So I think also to understand his heart and his vision, because if we're going to be taking over here, it's very important for us to grasp and understand what he had in mind, his vision, his goals, and so forth here. Because when we do take over completely, it would be, we want to carry
some of that vision, but we also have to work in what God has laid on our hearts and how God has been leading us. So there's a lot of figuring each other out, in a sense, that has to happen now, because he's also a strong visionary, and he has his way of doing things, you have your way of doing things. So there's a lot that we need to figure out about each other and learn to work together and to see where we're going to go and how we're going to serve the Lord together while we are still here all together.
So John is a strong visionary in the sense that he will get a vision and pursue it until he gets another vision and pursues that one. I am a strong visionary where I get a vision and I want to pursue it until its completion.
And no distractions.
And I would not be distracted by another vision until the first one is completed. That's just the way I'm built, right? And so if I've come for a purpose and I've come for a call and I've seen a vision, then I'm going to put all my energies towards that vision. And for us right now, that vision is strengthening the pastors here, building the church, building and helping these pastors to get proper theological training. And that's obviously the one vision. The other vision is to get an English church started here in Chavuma. Another vision is to help the young children to get English teaching, so they can excel in their schools and actually grow better. The other vision is the water. So these are lots. This is four very big, strong,
and don't
important
forget
points.
the sanitary.
The sanitary pads is something that has been started here. It's not what we've come here for.
Yes, no, I understand. But what I'm saying is, if we were carrying on by being here, we would be carrying on those visions as well, which means that the visions or the it might not be what was on our hearts when we left Cape Town, but because we've been asked to come and take over and they want to hand things over. There's some projects that we might not have had in our mind as a vision, but it's some projects that we need to be
we need to be open to
we need to
seeing
get
how
a vision
to help
for
the people.
We need to actually find a vision for it.
I think the vision needs to be sold. You know, in the sense that we need to actually be brought on board. And saying, this is the vision, we need this to happen. This is why it's important. I mean, we're getting visitors coming here now, right? And obviously hosting them, a lot of our energy is going into hosting them. And we know the team is going into Angola, and we're grateful for their work, and we're happy to help them because they're serving Masaha, who's one of our pastors whom we're trying to lift. So it's very important. We're
and
getting other visitors coming in here in June, and they're just coming for a short-term mission trip. I think it's not even 2 weeks, 10 days. So we want to host them and give them a good sense of what it's like to be out here on the mission field, to meet the Levani people and to maybe build a relationship with someone that they can take home with them and love. So in one sense, our visitors are important to us. Our visitors encourage us. Our visitors will go away with a vision of what we're doing and maybe support us in prayer, support us financially, help us to achieve certain goals. So we really, really love our visitors coming here, and the help that they bring to us. But it also does take energy out of us to prepare. The lodge, for example, I need to prepare accommodation. There's 14 people coming, where are they going to shower? There's not enough hot water here. Where are they going to go to the toilet? There's not enough toilets here. So I have to prepare that. So it takes time away from me wanting to help these pastors.
Oh, we have to prepare that.
Are you going to build the toilets with me?
No, but I'm going to be preparing the lodge as well, because I'm going to getting the beds and things ready. It's not just you.
Of course not just me. Anyway, so it's obviously settling into this new pressure, this new pace now.
I think
just figuring out also how we work together, also with John. It's going to be interesting.
It's new dynamics, and I think definitely our friends can pray that there would always be unity, and that we would we will not be self-focused, but God-focused and kingdom-focused. That in everything that we do together as individuals and as a body of Christ, that we would work together instead of pulling in different directions, instead of breaking each other down, that we would really build each other up and be a strength to each other, so that we can build God's kingdom together instead of tearing things down.
Yes.
It's so easy when you're different people working together in a ministry or mission that you can start becoming each other's enemy in a sense, and start working in different directions and saying, becoming negative about each other. But it's only because of Christ that we can actually all work together in unity and in harmony with each other. So that could definitely be something people can pray for us, so that it's never going to be about us, but rather about the kingdom, about God, that we're not going to pull in different directions.
Yeah. And also that we might be able to understand John's heart here.
See his vision.
See his vision. I think that's important. Yeah.
Chimene mwane.
Yeah.
Ngachirienu.
Mane. So lots of fish, eh?
Mm-hmm.
They've obviously had a good morning of catching fish.
Was that the kapenta?
Yeah, one of those buckets full of those small fish. We don't have a picture to show our viewers. Yeah. Anyway, so that was pretty much our last, I think, a couple of weeks. 2 weeks. We did a short, brief update last week, but it wasn't the right.
Was it very informal?
Yeah.
One, just so that you don't forget about us. We're still here.
Yeah. Good. Thank you everyone for your support. Thank you for watching this video to the end. We really love and appreciate you guys. Please like and subscribe to the channel, the YouTube channel, so that you'll be updated when we get new video content onto this channel. Then it'll come straight up onto your feed. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
Bye.